Hi, this is Harriet. I am Becky's virtual assistant and help her out with tasks such as Mailchimp. So I thought I'd run through how Mailchimp works basically, the basics to get you to a point where you can send newsletters out. This is the main dashboard. This is a brand new account that I've made just to show you the basics. The main places where you want to spend most of your time are at the top here: campaigns, templates, lists, and reports. Lists are where you keep all of your contacts. So in here, you literally have, like it says on the tin, lists, and then within the lists you have groups. It's important to spend a little bit of time to think about how you're going to organize your lists and groups, because in an ideal world, it would make sense just to have one main list and then have groups within that. So, for example, in this list, you go to Manage Contacts and Groups, View Groups, and then we would have your subgroups in here. The benefits of having I'll just show you the other one. The benefits of having everything under one list is you can target, for example, you could send an email to personal training people and the wellness, but not nutrition. Or you could send to everyone in this group, and it doesn't matter that the person appears in each of these lists. It won't duplicate. So it's really good for targeting, keeping people separate, knowing why people are in your in the list, and having them in specific groups so you can target them. However, if your list links up to potentially your website or another sign-up area, it may mean that you need to have it as a list rather than a group. And the downfall of having separate lists would be if you were sending one newsletter, but you wanted to send it to test list 2, main test list, and grit culture list, you would have to send that newsletter 3 times. And if the person appears in each of these lists, they're going to receive 3 of your emails. So it can be a complicated thing, but I think if you spend a little bit of time thinking about the setup and how contacts are getting into your system, whether you're going to import them and add them manually by going into Add Subscriber or importing with a list, or whether they're coming through an automated process. It would depend how you organize your contacts. I would also suggest when you do add contacts, if you can, tag them. So, for example, you could add a tag saying attended event. It just means that when you have your list of contacts, you can just, let me think of the contact in here. You can clearly see that, okay, this person, me, has attended an event. Or you could add numerous tags, and then you can filter by tag. Just gives you other ways of finding people and targeting specific people, which I'll show you when we draft up the campaign. So that's a very quick overview of lists. I'm happy to discuss setups with anyone, because I know it can be a little bit overwhelming to start with. But to be honest, just start with one list, but just be aware that of the setup so that you don't shoot yourself in the foot later and have to move people around or potentially have a massive deduplicating task. In campaigns, this is where you set up a brand new campaign. So you would go to create campaign, email, enter your campaign name. So the campaign name, I tend to put in a little bit of like here, content, who's it going to, when are we sending? I'm just going to put one there because I've already got one campaign called that. And then in here, you decide who you want to send the campaign to. So this is where you can see that you can only choose one list. You can only send to one list at a time. but you can go all subscribers in list, or you can go to group, and then in here you can choose one or two or just one, and you can play around with that. Or you can do other rules, for example, everyone added after a specific date. Then it's quite simple. You just have to click in your from, who your email is coming from, how you want that to appear. Make sure that you verify your email address when you first initially set that up, which is just, it will just send you an email, give you a code, and it just means that it's double checked that that's your email address, which should help when emails get sent out from Mailchimp. It should try and avoid them going into people's junk mail. Sometimes that is unavoidable, but if we can take those steps to help the process, hopefully people won't be missing your email. Enter your subject line and your preview text, which is quite handy there as well. Makes an email look really smart when it comes through in someone's inbox. And then design the content. Here you can choose previous campaigns, which is quite nice, or you can choose the Mailchimp template layouts. What I would do is just spend a bit of time initially setting up how you'd like an email to look, and then when you've done it in here, you can click up the top here and save it as template, and then you can just simply use that layout over and over, keeping consistency throughout your emails. It's all quite straightforward in here. You literally just drag and drop from the right hand side, and then edit. When you click on the box, you can then edit in here. Just be aware that there's the content, the style, and settings tab. So if you can't find something, just tab along. Make sure you use links where you can on images so that people can click through. And again, on text, if you just highlight and use the links here, you can create call to actions for your readers. Buttons, again, great for that. Once you have connected your socials up as well, if you replicate or save as template, that will be carried through, and the same with your footer. Make sure that you always have an unsubscribe option for your the people that are going to receive your emails, and all of your business details in there as well are quite helpful. And then once you either can just make sure, a couple of times I've actually accidentally exited without clicking save and close here. So save and close, just make sure that everything is saved and updated. You can save and exit and go back to any area in Mailchimp there, or you just simply click save and close. Here, you can then, once you're happy with everything, you can either schedule, and a box will pop up with calendar and times, or send, which will send the campaign instantly. I'm going to finish this later. So this will then take you back to campaigns, where you can replicate an email. Replicating an email is really helpful as well, because like I said, once you set up an email that you're happy with, if you just replicate it, you can then basically, it will replicate all the information, and you can change the name of it and change the content accordingly. I would suggest creating folders down the side here where you can group emails if you know that you're going to have repeat content or style different, for example. One thing that Mailchimp does do really well is automated emails. So if you have any online programs or people signing up to emails, and you want them, every time someone signs up to an email, you want everyone to be receiving a welcome email. And then you can set up rules to say, like, 2 days after they receive that welcome email, they get another email. That's all really, really simple. And maybe I'll do another tutorial on that, but happy to answer any questions that people may have on those. And that's kind of the basics of Mailchimp. Also up the top here, there's a search where you can search, for example, you can search an email address or campaigns or contacts, which is really helpful if someone, perhaps says, I thought I was getting your emails and I haven't been getting them, you can then go in there and see when you search an email address, it will show you all the emails that person's been sent and whether they've opened them as well, which is really helpful when people are, saying that they're not getting your emails, or to check that someone is getting your emails. That's a really, really quick overview. I hope that you found that helpful, and any questions, send them my way.